All right, let's get to chatting here. Welcome everybody, and thanks for being a part of this and coming along. Let me go back to my announcement so I can remind myself what I said. Uh, oh yeah, oh yeah, utility for all protocols. I said that. Um, Accepting coins across the whole Avalanche network. I said that. Taking down the staking site and the migration site in a couple months. I said that. Beta testing is going to begin. I said that. And what else did I say? Server event today. We're going to have some fun afterwards. I did say that. Tutorial levels. I talked about that. All right. Yeah. Okay. I remember now. So we do have a good amount of stuff to talk about. Let's just start right at the top. One of the things that we're very excited that we're doing is we think it's a little bit outside of the box, and we think that it's a little bit progressive thinking. Is that we're going to change our payment contracts and change our website up so that we can expand our ecosystem and our community to be a part of the entire Avalanche community. And so, with the help of you guys, with the community, we're going to listen to everybody. We're going to take our time, do a good job of being smart and doing some research and vetting. But we're going to go ahead, and if you guys want to have one of your projects or protocols that you're real excited about and that you use regularly and whatever, be a part of our ecosystem, then we want that too. So, we'll listen to you guys, make tickets, bring these things up to us so that we can start to compile that list. We have a list going right now already of about 10 tokens. And that's good. And we'll add more as we get more input from people. And it's nothing really special or super unique about the idea. Everybody would want, their protocols token to be accepted somewhere so that it has some sort of outside utility. We'll do that, as long as the coins have liquidity and things like that, where we can still liquidate the coins. We'll offer discounts to use them. We'll wrap tournaments around them. We think it's a very unique idea, and I don't think I've seen any other P2Es approach their network in this way. So in that regard, we kind of think that we're being trailblazers and trendsetters. So that's going to be an approach we take across the Avalanche network. And liquidity is not the only judge. Yes, it is a large judge. Obviously, yeah, of course. But it's not the only judge. So we'll do a small vetting process to make sure that we are dealing with reputable parts of the Avalanche network too. So it'll be good. I think it'll be good for everybody. It'll be good for the protocols around the network. And I think it'll be good for us. I think it'll be good for us as a community, and I think it'll be good for us as a studio. Looking to build out more games into our catalog as well. So I think it's an overall smart thing every way we approach it. So I look forward to having the coming week and weeks discussed about this of coins that we can add and protocols you'd like to see added. Just open support tickets for anybody that wants to get one-on-one with me or with DB. If there's something that you'd like to see added, and then we'll get right on it. We're not going to add them one at a time. We have to redeploy the payment contract to do that, so we'll add them in batches, and we'll maybe do it like once a month or something like that. So we haven't really figured out exactly when or how often, things like that, but we will look to to be expanding out to the rest of the Avalanche network in that regard. As far as the utility of using the tokens, the couple I mentioned in the announcement were just quick that we had discussed, offering discounts and then like a reward system for mass utilization and stuff like that. But uh, we're also going to be open to other good ideas. If you've got good ideas, let's talk about it. So I know a lot of these different projects and protocols all have different things going for them. They're not all the same. So they're all going to be unique in what sort of ways that we can be beneficial with each other and things like that. But it's all about listening and being smart. So that's what we want to do. Real quick, we'll talk about the claiming period for staked NFTs that haven't been claimed yet for your AVAX rewards. Got till the end of June to do it, or we're going to close that up. There's a few open tickets for people that haven't had the ability to have like the website work for them the right way. And once we close that contract up, we'll be able to do those tickets manually and take care of those manually. Same thing on same time, end of July, June. So at July 1st, we're going to close down the migration site. And if you haven't brought your NFTs over from the old contract to the new contract, we will still do that for you, but we are not going to host the site just continuously and forever. So we'll do that for you for a fee and a manual process. So if anybody has any questions about that, can open a ticket. We don't know the fee yet. And it's probably $100 or something like that. It's not going to be cheap. Someone's got to stop what they're doing for the day to go take care of it. So, yeah, do it for free now with the migration site. We got the whole second quarter left to do it, and come on and be a part of our future. That's what we hope. Okay, let's talk about the tutorial levels. One thing that a lot of people have asked for is like a free to play environment for practice and for new players who don't come in and just get stomped on immediately. And that's a smart thing to ask for. I think it's a good thing for the growth of our player base. Another thing that other people have expressed is that they say, well, if I'm a good player, what's stopping me from just starting new accounts and new wallets and just farming the new players who come into the community? And that's also a concern. So one thing that we decided that we could do is have the introductory levels to your player account be that free to play environment, non-tokenomic environment. And so after, a good day and a half worth of full gameplay, like that 9 to 15 hours that I had typed in there, that you'd finally make it to level 10. And that's when you could participate in the tokenomics. It makes sense to me. I think it makes sense to a lot of people. We've talked about it too. You can't have the heen dogs out there resetting their account every day, making a new account, heen dog 1, heen dog 2, heen dog 3, and every day just farming the new people who come into the community. Number one, that's sort of like, taking advantage of the community and, in an unfair way. But number two, we won't grow a community if that continues. People won't come here to play. So we don't have the exact, how much experience is level 1, how much experience is level 2. We don't have the exact numbers, but we do have a template we're going to start with. And that's something that we'll be trying with the beta testers. So, but it should be about a 9 to 15 hour experience to get to level 10, for most players. And that should be about one full day of gameplay if you were to play all 3 NFTs that you can rent in a day and take all 10 energy out of every NFT and get right to the, end. That should be full days of gameplay. What else we got? The beta testing we can talk about. So the game and the contracts are getting to the point where they're colliding now. And that's a very exciting time for us because we can leave the alpha version and start getting into a beta version of the game. And what that means is that we are getting our contracts, our websites, our databases, and the game to all talk to each other so that we are almost to a releasable product. Hashing out bugs and fixing whatever's broke or adding quality of life, et cetera, et cetera. So in beta, we are damn near a releasable product. The beta community will start off, and we will be scheduling times where we can have small events because obviously the beta community is going to be very small at first, and so matchmaking is one of the things that we want to work on. So we'll schedule some calendar events where people can sign up for some matchmaking events, and we'll let those matches run out. We'll add boss fight at the end of it. We'll add AI to the fight. We'll add energy usage and have it all correlate with the database, pending rewards correlating with the database. So we can run the system from top to bottom, start to finish, and make sure that everything is smooth and good before we go out and try to advertise to the thousands of people that we want to come in and have play our game. Starting today, later today, I'll probably start just doing it on a very manual process with the tickets that are open and just start communicating with everybody. But what I'll probably do is I've started to ask the people who open tickets, are you looking to be helping us with beta testing from a owner perspective or from a scholar perspective, so we can break those two groups down, and then take it further from there. Obviously, owners don't need to know or be around when we're doing a matchmaking test with scholars per se. So we'll break those two groups down, and we've already started to create the beta channels. We'll pass the roles out, and then I'll start making announcements and tagging the channels so that the people with the roles see the tags, and we'll start getting to work probably as early as tomorrow, as far as scheduling some things and getting moving forward on putting all of our systems together. It's a really exciting time, but again, I'm not exactly sure of which step should take, we should take first. And so there'll be some coordinating I have to do with DB and some further understanding of where we're at. But um, from what I've seen, even as late as this morning, our rental website is done. I mean, we've got some cosmetics we can do to it, but the guts is done. The contract is done. Pools are done. One-to-one listings are done. Logging in, creating your account, your player, character sheet and dashboard is all done. Um, Splits and the percentages is all done. So we are ready to start testing the full final product, probably as early as tomorrow. We'll start getting on the beta rolls tonight. And I don't know for sure it'll be tomorrow, but I think we can probably get something even going as early as tomorrow, matchmaking, etc., and taking a game from start to finish. So looking forward to that. And as the week goes on, I'm looking forward to posting in the updates of how things are going, if we've hit any stumbling blocks or if things are just looking good. And I'll keep people informed and in the loop as we go through the week. Um, when we get through this initial phase of the small beta group and we feel like these contracts are good to go, database good to go, website good to go, everything's good to go, and we can fully focus now on finishing just the polish of the game, that's when we'll open up the beta to what we'll call an open beta for anybody to come in and participate in the beta mode that we have available while we finish off the real full polished modes, um, on the full polished map, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't know how long we'll be in this small beta phase. I have no idea. Definitely at least this week. I know that, but come next weekend, we'll talk about it again and how it's been going and things like that. I don't know how long it'll take to get to the open beta, so please don't ask. I just have no idea at all. But looking forward to getting through this beta stage and pumping out our marketing and starting to see our activity go up. I think that we're on the cusp of having a really really fun game, and taking this thing and going viral through the Avalanche network, the way that we're approaching it now. So I've been trying to read as I talk over on the right hand side, but I don't think any questions have been.
I think the next few patches and updates during this beta phase are gonna be real cool. I think people are really gonna like it because we're gonna be integrating like leaderboards. That's what like one of the first things I want to integrate along with like just the actual like rental stuff and the actual website where you're gonna like be that you'll be using for the game and stuff. I do want to get a section where it'll show like a play by play. I don't want to say a play by play exactly, but it's gonna show the stats of each match that's being played live. Um and you also, if you're logged in, you'll be able to see like your generic, your stats, your kills, deaths, matches won and stuff like that. That's one of the first things I want to add onto it, so people could see, oh look, like these people are playing, oh look, these are the matches, like these are people winning the matches and stuff. It'll also make it a lot easier for us to host events, for the next 2 or so weeks, give or take, while we're actually doing this beta test and whatnot.
I know a lot of
And
people have been asking for like a squads mode too, and like polishing up something fun for playing with your mates, and I think that that's something that we want to get up high on the priority list as well. But we still have uh annoyances too to fix up, and like little things to polish up too, so we still have a lot of work on our plate, and I don't want to downplay that, but the part of getting to the point where we're at now, where we do have working contracts and databases, is extremely exciting. It's extremely exciting. It means that it's on us now to say like, okay, this is enough polish, we are okay to present to the world. It's like it's I mean, assuming that we get through debugging and working everything out and making sure everything works the way we want it to. But this is an extremely exciting time. Like, this really is the final countdown, no pun intended on that, song we keep posting in chat, but we really are at the final length here in the race. This is really exciting. So, besides the beta testing role, I'll start passing those roles out and communicating on those tickets. And again, if you want to be part of the beta testing and you're not sure, well, accept me. I'm not sure if I'm a candidate. Just open a ticket. Let's chat about it. Maybe maybe we already have enough owners. Maybe we don't. I don't know. Open a ticket. Be a part of what we're doing here. If you think you want to be a part of it, be a part of it. The last announcement that I did make earlier today is going forward, we're going to try to start hosting our AMAs in game. We're going to be adding a game chat, like a bubble chat, a chat log, whatever you want to call it, along with the proxy chat. So that way we can host questions and type out questions and stuff like that. We'll have control over who can talk and stuff like that, as far as with muting and opening a mic channel. We don't have those controls quite yet, but we will soon. So we're going to start hosting the AMAs in the game and then posting them afterwards. Going forward, a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about in the AMAs is going to be simply game related. A mode we want to bring out, or a new feature we want to display, something like that. A new marketplace item that we're going to soon be releasing that we want to display, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's not always going to be about when launch. Tell me about the token, tell me about liquidity, tell me about this, tell me about that. It's going to be more game based. And so we want to be hosting it in the game and, get people focused on the game. One thing people have been asking a lot about in the beta, as far as, can I rent NFTs out, and will I make ASG and da-da-da-da-da. Again, I can't say whether or not you will or won't ever make ASG. You can't ask me that, because I'm just simply not allowed to answer that. Can't say it. If you can win games, then you can win games. Then winning games is what gets ASG. So I don't know, how well you do or don't play on any individual level, but I do know that we're going to start opening up the database that controls the splits and pending rewards. And then that database, when you can claim your pending rewards, will trigger the blockchain and mint you your coin, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I'm saying when I say that. I'm extremely excited that all the systems are going to start talking to each other. So, I had one more thing I wanted to say. My brain just went blank like an idiot about the ASG. And so people have been asking about the pairing. When are we repairing? We're probably going to pair with a combination of AVAX and USDC this time. I think that's the way we're leaning, is doing like a 50-50 on that. And as far as when pair, we had a couple of meetings this past week, and we have a few more meetings lined up. And based on those meetings will depend, where we list our pair. So we're just not in a rush right yet. We're going to let these meetings play out before we relist that. So I wanted to mention those things too. Anybody have any questions that you want to ask me now while I'm chit-chatting and I'm kind of reading off to the right-hand side, if there's anything? Oh, here we go. How can I tell if my NFT has been migrated? I recently purchased one off NFT Trade. Excuse me. If you're not sure, Phil, Don, Fee, if you're not sure, you can always open a support ticket and ask, and we can always answer it. But the general gist of it is, if you go to the migration site and connect your wallet to the migration site, if you have NFTs from the old contract, they'll show up there and be eligible to be migrated. And if you don't have NFTs from the old contract, then nothing will show up there. So you'll know if you have NFTs that need migrated if you go to the migrations page, which is in the official links. But not really going to plan. I love the pay with that power. Yeah, I'm not sure about a spectator mode, Dr. Yaz. I got to talk with DB about that, because there is some concern about
Stream sniping.
yeah, or you just cheesing matches, in general. So probably not a big focus. Yeah, it's probably not a big focus at this time. Yeah, I will say that.
We do have a plan for a I guess like a legit arena style, like, like possibly like taking place in a like sort of coliseum setting where you'll be able to spectate, and it's like somewhat of a tournament, and maybe there's a few matches going on, and you could zoom in, or maybe there'll be like billboards, cameras flying around, drones, or there's a lot of possibilities. I've been thinking about that a lot, about a mode like that. But that's probably as good. That's probably the closest spectator type mode that we'll get, mainly because of this like sniping, and maybe you're in a call with somebody else telling them, hey, like, oh, he's over here. The amount of controls we would have to add, you know, um, so it would be
People
somewhat.
had that idea for that Hunger Games mode. I mean, I would like to flesh that out in some fashion. I think
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
be a hell.
exactly.
I think that would be a hell of a mode.
The first
But
step
we'd
to
have to
that would
figure
be
out a way
that.
to make it safe for like being cheated on. That's all, you know.
Yeah, yeah. The first step to that would be a Coliseum mode where it's like you could literally see them, like it's kind of flat. There's not much, um, roughness in the terrain and stuff. Literally, like a flattened Coliseum and stuff. And then after that, we would have to explore, like, adding like little hills, trees, and stuff. Because at that point, there's a stealth aspect to it, and we can't have spectators like giving away, like they're moving around the whole scene and whatnot.
Right. I do love the concept of the idea, though. So I'm sure we could figure out some sort of way to create a spectated mode, but I don't know it being anything that's on the horizon per se. I should say that for sure. What about anybody else got anything? We're at such an exciting time. I can't believe nobody has any questions about the coming week and weeks.
Well, while we're waiting for questions, so we added in the clone grenades that are, they actually fight by your side. That's the first step into our squads system. So if you've been playing the game, you'll notice that your clones don't attack you. They don't attack each other. They go after other players, and they also go after enemy AI. Once you have a squad, it's the same thing. They won't attack your squad, they won't attack your squad's clones if they have, if somebody has a clone grenade or some sort of, clone like ability and stuff. It's really easy to add in squads mode. That's something that we're gonna do after we launch all this stuff. I think squads mode is gonna like really sort of change the pacing of the game, because at that point, there's a lot of people that play different games, or like they just want to test games out with their friends, so they'll test it out by themselves, and then they'll bring their friends like, oh, come on, come play this. And then you could squad up, and I think it'll be pretty interesting, especially doing deciding how big our squad limit will be, and building all the different modes around that as well. Like there's it's really easy to build modes. That's kind of what the AMAs in the game thing that we're doing. Essentially, it's gonna be, you wouldn't join match. It's gonna be an event. It's gonna say, hey, join the AMA, and that's where like all the permissions and the roles come in. Like we probably disable everybody from like spamming spells. If there's like 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 people in there. Like right now, there's 42 people. If everybody were to just spam all their spells all at once, it would be rather chaotic. Or if everybody were to drop in their clone grenades, and now you have 40 times 3, and they're all casting spells. So there would be limits. But that's kind of like a little demonstration of how easy it is to build a mode, getting the AMAs in there, because we've got all the core code, we've got like the websites, the contracts, everything is already starting to communicate. So we are really in like the final countdown, like K9 said earlier. And it's gonna be really interesting making all these new modes. Like once all this stuff is done and fleshed out, adding squads mode, adding different tournament style arenas, Coliseum style, the Hunger Games mode, like different things, and like having people pitch ideas is pretty cool, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great.
I got a couple questions here. Let me scroll up. Um, Sorry, I'm late. What did we cover? What is a realistic time for full release? Asks Rate. Super hard question to answer. Obviously, I'm not trying to dodge it. Trust me. Um, so this week will tell us a lot. Not trying to like down talk anybody else's work or anything like that, but like DB gets his hands on something and tries to use it, or find out what we can or can't use out of it, or decides if he wants to start something from scratch and then plug it into what they've worked on, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's a process when we put all these things together, and most of the contract database work and website work is done by other people, and then they turn it all into DB, and then he has to kind of put all the ingredients together and make us that cake. So it's a bottleneck of things that happen for him, and we just got through the bottleneck. Like this was a big deal. This week was a big deal. You notice we didn't have an AMA last week because there was nothing to come tell you guys about, because he was just down the rabbit hole, and there was no reason to come have an AMA and break up what he had working on. So if you ask me again next weekend, I probably have a better answer for you, honest to God, because this week's going to tell us a lot. It's going to tell us if the database is holding the information that we need, or if we need to make any adjustments, or if there's something we forgot about, or et cetera, et cetera. And then we can start polishing off the game mode itself to make sure that the matchmaking is properly working, and that a player that's level 13 doesn't get queued in with a player that's level 3 type of thing. There's still work that has to be done as far as making sure everything works right. But the stuff that just got done is the holdup to being able to do a game in the first place. Without the contracts and the database and the website all talking cohesively with the game, there is no game. So now that stuff is done, we could release the mode we have right now, technically, and probably go find bugs and issues that pop up. But technically, we could try that. So it was a big deal to get to where we're at right now. And if you ask me again next week, then I can probably answer that. But I would say that again, like I said the other day, we are down to counting weeks, not months, and that's a good thing. And when we get down to counting days, I promise I will let you know. Mady says hoping for an April launch. Me too, dude. Me too. From an altcoin protocol point of view, this is from Cymex. What will you do with the acquired altcoin? Sell it. How will the protocol be sure that it will not just pose a sell pressure in the future? It's the way we're giving utility is that by offering discounts to our normally priced items to the altcoin, so you get more bang for your buck using your altcoin in our marketplace, in our minting sites, marketplace, summon, sacrifice, all that stuff. So, for example, for summoning and sacrifice, and it's a $40 transaction. If you use your preferred altcoin, it's $36 transaction, because it's 10% discount to use that coin. So, but when we get the coin, that's our revenue. We are going to liquidate the coin for sure. It's just that the end user got more bang for their buck out of that coin over here at our ecosystem. Temp123 says, are you still launching PvP first and then PvE, or both at the same time? Well, with multiplayer PvE being the main crux of the game, and with PvP being our main revenue source, they both rely on similar matchmaking services in that we need to make sure that level 20s aren't queuing up with level 2s. So I would suspect PvP gets launched first, and while we polish up the boss mode, probably with the beta testers. The thing about the boss mode is timing. We have to make sure that you can fight the match, play the match, and then fight the boss, and have time to fight the boss before the storm closes on you. So probably right in tandem. There'll probably be one right after the other, is my guess. I'm not exactly sure. April 1st as canine. How will renting work for all these modes? Will we rent to pools and it's a free for all for the renter? How can we be sure our energy is spent where we need it to? Well, all the modes in the future, obviously, as we expand and release more modes, we'll probably have a better grip on a lot of that stuff. I think a lot of that stuff will play out organically as time plays on and as the player base grows. And what I mean by that is you will be able to quickly see how an NFT is still viable after its 10 energy is rented. Just might not be viable at that same split that was requested or required when 10 energy was available. People might want to use that NFT to go play squads modes and play zombie modes, or play the high scores, or play this, that, or the other thing. But if it doesn't have 10 energy, it doesn't matter, because all they need is the NFT. And so there might be different ways to list it for different ways to play it. But I'm not exactly sure, and I don't think anybody's exactly sure until we kind of just see how the markets and the organicness of it plays out. And again, I don't think all modes will be necessarily keen for rental in the first place. I think some modes are just going to be primarily geared toward owners who play and enjoy the game from a game enjoyment standpoint. So don't try to think of every single mode as a, how can I rent for that mode? You rent the NFTs to go play the 10 energy is still the crux of the game. How can you be sure that it's being spent on the 10 energy? I don't know if there's ever a way you can be sure. There's nothing that stops someone from just renting your NFT and then going to bed. There's nothing that stops that. So I don't know if is there ever a way to just be sure for that. I'm not sure about that. Is there an ideal player base size? Want to say you said 5K before? Yeah, I did say 5K. I think that's a good for us. That's a good starting base. Healthy. When we get to 5K, I think we have a healthy player base, and I think the sky's the limit from there. So 5K, I think is a good starting initial player base goal for us. Absolutely. It provides enough monthly gameplay that we're paying servers, we're paying salaries, we're paying money back into the LP, and it's good for everybody. Do the clone grenades count? I am sure I just killed someone with them and never got the kill count. But right
They,
now, they do not count to the leaderboard for kills. Although if you die to them, you still get it on the death count. And we'll tweak that as we have
yeah,
more
I'll,
time. We
I'll
just
add
didn't
that
have
in
more
later.
time. Yeah, we just
Yeah,
didn't have time. That's all.
I literally made that in like probably an hour or two.
Adding big swords. Thank you, Mavis. We like them. Bigger the better. Yaz says 10 DeFi tokens, 50 player each from each protocol. That by itself is 500. Is Walshy going to work with the other guilds to make sure the stats they would like are in the database and working distribute? That would be more DB for putting those stats and tables together. But yeah, I mean, we do a pretty good job of listening to everybody. So tell us what you need and we'll get it in there. You know what I'm saying? Need coffee. I also do. I drink mine. Hatter says to avoid the energy waste you mentioned, is there still a big focus on customizable guild pools or personal private pools? Um, no, there hasn't been a big focus except for on catching up where we are not caught up. Customizable guild pools, anything customizable? Probably not at this point. I think it will depend a little bit on player base and demand and things like that, where the demand lies. Right now, we have demand for our small team that is just too great elsewhere.
what
Um,
what we do have is
but
it,
what I was going to say, our pools are already extremely flexible. So I'm not
yeah,
sure how much demand there's going to be once people see the flexibility in them. So we probably just have to just wait to see like organically what is demanded of us after people get their paws on everything, if that makes sense.
yeah. Right now, every guild they create their own splits for every NFT tier. So it's like Heimdall, Thor, Odin, and Freya, legendary. You could set up the splits for each of those, and then the same thing for the common tiers. Now, as far as making like, oh, silver level scholar, this is his split that he would get because this is a higher quality player and things of that nature. We haven't added that yet, but I already started exploring the concept of that and I sort of I have an idea of how I would go about it using the same system, just sort of tweaking one minor thing on it. But right now I'm keeping it simple, and then later, expand on it. As to not overcomplicate the process right now is probably the best bet in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that once there's an understanding of what is needed most for like for example, what do all the guilds collectively say? Yeah, we all need this. It's like that's where we're going to be focusing. And then once we get all these things settled and in our review mirror, we can start focusing on like specific, things that are more needed, um, here and there. But um, I think right now the whole crux is that we are getting to a point where we can deploy something. We can deploy something that, I mean, as sad as it is, some of us are getting, to our 1 year mark, our anniversary of owning these NFTs, So we are, we're getting to the point where we can deploy something, and that's really just something to be excited about. As far as being able to fine tune and perfect and personalize tons of stuff, that's just going to have to be something that's a little bit lower on the priority. So just be a little bit later on.
Uh, for Mad Hatter though, as far as private pools go, we recently did test. There are private guilds. I wouldn't say private pools. We didn't take it that far. And in order to access that, you do need a password. You do need to be a member of the guild. So just having the password isn't enough either. Um, you actually have to have been approved to join that guild. All that functionality is there. Um, and then there's also just the core functionality where you could rent from a guild if it's public, if you're not a part of that. We recently tested that. It was literally, I just had to remove an extra little security thing where before it was you had to be a member of that guild in order to rent from that pool, and we removed that. And then there's a check, well, is it a private guild? Do I need the password, and am I an approved member, and stuff like that? So that stuff is there already. It's just not very in depth. There isn't different tiers like we mentioned earlier, but the core concept of all of that's there. As K9 said, as
As rough
people.
as you want to make it, you could make a privatized guild for your prestige Heimdall players, and then another one for your prestige Freya players, and then pass out individual passwords and approve individual players and you could set up, but we should be able to tie all that into just one guild setup too. We're just not there yet. It's just going to take
Yeah,
some time.
it wouldn't be hard. It wouldn't be hard. It's just right now I'm really more focused on everything else.
Like
And then
I got to get flying mounts in the game before we get privatized guild pools. So I got to get my way on something here soon. So, but let's see who else we got. Balls dropping soon, says Dr. Yaz. I don't know what that means, but it sounds gross. Um, LOL breakout of sheep also sounds. What are you guys talking about? Okay. Hatter says thanks for the feedback. Do the important stuff. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna make this game as customized as possible, and I think that those are good ideas to have. So, not saying that they aren't. Just don't know when. That's all. Just don't know when. Inside joke, kind of. Okay, good. I don't want to be inside that joke. Thank you very much. What else? Anybody else got some questions for me or for DB? DB spent the whole week doing non-game stuff, and just last night spent the whole night staying up, made us this patch. I hope that you guys stick around and can log in and play it with us. We're going to play 3 matches today, and without the mini map in here, we are going to play some rather fun bounties. So I'll talk to you guys about that here in a few. Stanley says, any plans? What are the plans to bring the dormant people in the Discord to life and playing? Presume launch will bring a lot back. Well, you know what? Honestly, I'm glad you said that. Just mentioning beta brought a lot of people out of the woodwork. So I think you're right. Once some people even just forgot about the project in general. 2022 was a tough year for a lot of people. A lot of people dabbled in Web3, got smacked in the face and kicked in the balls, and then left Web3. Um, so I think that people will come out of the woodwork just in time as they see activity. I think you're right. But as far as the people and coming out of the woodwork, that's all great. But honest to God, Stanny, that is not our future. We need eyes from all over the network. We need eyes from Web 2. We need college eyes. We need console players. We need everybody to come want to be a part of what we got going on here. Oh, why would I ever spend another dollar on V-Bucks when I can own my own skins, weapons, or mounts in this cool ass game called Gods of Asgard? That's really what we need, honest to God. It's came a hell of a long way. Thank you. My BRB screen is interesting. No, we're not mad at you, Stanley. Don't worry. Excuse me. Any other questions about? How about any questions about this coming week or coming weeks? Of what we think we're going to be tackling or talking about or trying to knock out each week. I mean, I'll chat about whatever you guys want to chat about. The marketplace is open for skins, and we'll be tossing in the teabag emote here probably this coming week. And like we said, we're going to be changing the marketplace website and the payment contracts to accept altcoins across the network, which we're really excited about. And once we do that, we're actually going to make a big marketing social media push about that. Start tagging different protocols across the Avalanche network and welcoming them to our ecosystem. But our marketplace is technically open. You can. I don't know if did we update it, DB, since
No,
ASG's offline. So is
we
the
haven't
marketplace?
updated. I don't think we've updated that yet. Um, I'll probably spend some time tomorrow doing that. And we could probably just start gearing towards the adding in the coins. We'll just, we'll have to see what we pair it with now. Um, to
Well,
start.
yeah, we like I said a little bit ago, we haven't posted our pair, reposted our pair yet because we had a few meetings this past week, and I've got a couple more scheduled this coming week. And depending on how those meetings go, will depend on where we repost our pairing. Um, but I do think we're going to probably split it this time and go 50-50 on AVAX and USDC, unless something else comes out of our meetings and we decide to change our mind and go in another direction. But as far as like the marketplace and adding liquidity and et cetera, like the minting site is down right now. We're not adding to our minting of the NFT collection because we have a skew between supply and demand of our player base, and so I want the player base to grow. But then, when the time is right, we'll open up minting to the collection again. But right now, you can still use our marketplace, and those purchases still do add to liquidity. So, absolutely. But I think probably we're at least a week away from reposting the pair. I would say at least 1 week away. All right, let me scroll back up here. Anyone gonna stream the after AMA game? Yeah, I could probably stream it on Facebook. Also said before, but forgot. Haven't. We'll sacrifice and summon. Yeah, all of our contracts will change so that you can, instead of paying for the transaction with what was USDC, you'll be able to choose your coin that you want to use. There will be specific timetables. So once we make the beta tester roles assigned and we open up that channel, we'll be in that channel. We'll be making private events to try to line people up into matchmaking. We don't want just people to just blindly try to matchmake and then fail to matchmake, and then we didn't get any testing done. So we will coordinate with that. So if you want to be a tester, Stanny, just make a support ticket, and we'll see if we can use you. Just do it. Go make that ticket and be a part of what we're doing. Okay, that's a good one. Sorry if it was mentioned before I arrived. It was not. But how will the tiering leveling system work for each NFT player profile? Leveling is to the player, not the NFT or the tier. So I, K9, will have a login profile, and my experience, if I complete a quest, if I get a kill, any of that stuff, I get the same experience if I complete that quest with a Freya or a Thor or a Heimdall or an Odin. Experience and leveling is to the player and the player character data, not the NFT data. So once you as a player, as an account, get to level 10, then you are participating in tokenomics, and you now require an NFT to play the game, and you have to participate in tokenomics at level 10 and beyond. How much is that fleshed out, and what benefits come with longer playtime dedicated? Great question. It's not totally fleshed out yet. We have a template we're going to start with and alter it as we go on whether or not levels need more experience, less experience, or whether or not certain activities should be rewarded with more or less experience. But like I just said, the tutorial levels are 1 through 10, where tokenomics and NFTs aren't required. The purpose of that is to give some practice playtime to our new players coming in, and so that experienced players are deterred from wanting to reset their player account and farm new players that come in for easy wins. So it's a smart play there. And then after level 10 is when tokenomics begin, and you need an NFT to play. And at certain player thresholds, at level thresholds rather, and we don't have them fleshed out yet, the important parts of the game begin to unlock. So when you start the game, you will not have 5 sidearm slots. You'll have 1 sidearm slot, and it may take until level 15 or 20 before another sidearm slot or 2 start to open up. It will probably take until level 40 or 50 or somewhere deep into the leveling before mounting starts to open up. That very powerful clone grenade that we just added to the game today will take somewhere deep into the leveling, 50, 60, something like that. But it's also important for us that we don't have crossovers of thresholds where people who have made it to a threshold aren't queuing in with people who haven't, because we don't want disadvantages to come up. So it's not fleshed out, and that's a big part of this whole beta system, is learning some of our systems that we want to put in place and how to best put them in place. Open minting using a tournament winner protocol tokens. We kind of had some ideas about that. Yeah, for sure. On update of PvE release timeline. Obviously, PvE is a multiplayer mode. Multiplayer PvE is the mode. We don't have a specific release on a timeline. We've been talking about it for this whole AMA. If you want to go back and listen, with the contracts and databases all being worked on and being done this past week, we can start the beta phase now, and we will begin to get with our beta testers and walk them through our systems of matchmaking, getting in the lobby, playing it, testing the databases that they talk to the blockchain, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then after we have a good feel for that, we'll be able to open up the small beta group into an open beta group, and then go from there. The tutorial levels, there's no gas fees. That's a PvP. That's a ranked PvP wager sort of thing. That's a totally different mode. These tutorial levels are similar to when you're spending energy. There's no gas or server fees when you're spending that energy. So just like in the multiplayer PvE, like level 10 and beyond, levels 1 through 10 is you queue in, you'll matchmake, you'll play, you'll practice, you'll level, you'll learn, but you just won't earn it. When whoever wins that will not come back to the lobby, to their player lobby, and see pending rewards. There are no rewards to be had until an NFT is required.
The tutorial levels, I'm pretty sure K9 are they're gonna be the multiplayer PvE mode. It wouldn't be PvP, correct?
That's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The gas fees for the server, that's part of a PvP mode. When you're putting up your entry fee, aka wager, whatever you want to call it, on a ranked PvP match where the top 3 of 10 split the entry fees, and that's a totally different mode. Those modes, those ranked PvP modes, that's where we see some revenue as a company. The PvE multiplayer PvE modes, those are the modes where you're queuing in as a group to go play, and the winner of that mode gets a chance to go fight the boss. I see 2 more typing questions. Let's see what we got. Hatter says, well, earned in-game NFTs. Yeah, they're tradable. Absolutely. Nope, they're tradable. They are, like, for example, you can go on NFT trade right now and look at our marketplace items. The future tech skins and the beachwear skins have already begun to be minted and are tradable on NFT trade. I don't think there's any listed right now, but they're on there. From previous experience with your games, you have to mint out the in-game item before listing it at a price and pay the fees, list, swap, etc. I don't think so. You can already list these on NFT trade.
So the way that that's gonna work.
Wait, he's saying earned in game. Okay. I misread it. I'm looking at stuff that was purchased and minted from our marketplace. So they automatically mint for trade when earned in game. What do we have that's earned in game right now? Anything?
So what we are leaning towards on that is, for example, like battle pass stuff. If you unlock it, you don't automatically get it. You decide, yeah, I actually want this. And if you play Fortnite or Apex, there's usually a button it says, yeah, I want to unlock all this stuff that I earned all this stuff given me, and it'll do like a multi-mint of all of that stuff. So you can do it one by one, or you could just do like, hey, I want to do a week's worth. I gained all these levels, I got all this stuff, I want to do all of this stuff. And then at that point you would actually mint it, and then you could go to the secondary market and stuff. And then we also have the concept of the loot boxes, which again for that it's you got the loot box, and then it's gonna mint for you. Um,
Yeah. So like what? Yeah, I think we're just mixing up a few words. So like in the game, you'll unlock the ability to have something, and then outside the game, you'll go mint it, and it'll be tradable items. So like in the game, you may unlock the ability to mount or have mounts, or you may unlock a rare mount, and you'll hold that token in your player character database, and then when you go to mint it, you have to have that token for the mint to go through.
yeah,
But once the NFT is minted, it's a tradable item for sure.
yeah, the most likely what we're gonna do is, if you do earn anything in the game, you would mint it through the website. Like, oh, like you unlock this on the battle pass, you actually want to mint that item that you unlocked. You would go to the website and then just cover the gas for the minting. Because if not, we would have to ask your wallet for permission to access X amount of, like to do it.
Yeah, I know other games do have where like an item is automatically minted, like you'll automatically pick up that rifle or whatever, and then boom, it mints like instantly, and that's your NFT now. But those are a little different. Um, like you said, like the contracts, they're just a little different than what we have. So our minting happens outside on a manual process where you have to approve the transaction and pay the gas, etc. Where I think those contracts you have to approve like an unlimited access and blah blah blah, and we didn't want to go down that route.
Yeah, exactly.
When game launches, if player base is more, yeah, Stanny, that's definitely something that we will do to aid in matchmaking. And it's something that we're going to be doing in beta to aid in matchmaking as well. And I would actually expect that to be something that happens as in the early launch until the player base grows. You can probably expect that. We'll probably do some regions and host like regional times and days in for certain servers, and we'll figure all that out when we're closer. So we'll talk with the different regions and get an idea of like what are the best times to host the server, stuff like that, so we can try to push people together for that matchmaking. Absolutely correct. So they automatically mint for trade when early with batch minting sounds good. Batch minting does sound good. Borkster the Brave says that's a great idea. Borkster, all of our ideas are great ideas, dude, because they came from you guys. They came from the community. Hatter's typing again. Uh-oh. What I hit? DB, can you show your screen and pull up some of the rental stuff that you're on? I know that the page isn't polished
Yeah,
from a cosmetic standpoint, but can you show some of just like the pools and the way we'll navigate to the splits and some of the stuff that will be shown
yeah,
before?
yeah.
I don't want to forget to show some of that before we close the AMA because I'm just looking at the time and it's almost 6 o'clock already. Hatter says, "What stats are you guys planning for the leaderboards? Any leaderboard rewards?" First of all, there's no way that there's any leaderboard rewards because we all know that I'm going to be on the top of the leaderboard. No matter what, my Heimdall will have 11 million HP and will be unbeatable. Um, so probably not. What stats are you guys planning for leaderboards? Honestly, open to whatever. The database is really easy to manipulate what stats we're tracking. Obviously, how many matches you've queued into, how many wins you have, how many losses you have, how many kills you have, how many deaths you have, like regular stats. Of course, we're going to track all that stuff. But I don't know if there's any other stats that we start tracking that people say, hey, how come you're not tracking that? Nothing's stopping us. We can do it. So I don't exactly know these precise list of the stats we're going to track. So if there's one that you wanted to make sure was tracked, by all means, mention it to us and we'll get it.
So I'm gonna go over some of the stuff here on the screen. So essentially, what I have here is this is the dashboard pulling the NFTs actually in your wallet, and then right here it's saying that I'm in a guild. I was running tests with that. We mentioned that earlier. Right now, you don't actually have to join a guild to rent anymore. We just removed that feature. But for those private guilds, where in order to rent from them, you have to be a member and you have to know the password or stuff like that. You would see the guild, you'd click it, and then you come to this page. So my rentals, this is an NFT that I'm renting. I haven't used it yet. These are ongoing rentals. These are NFTs that I'm renting out. So just because you're, renting out all your NFTs doesn't mean you still can't be a part of the ecosystem and decide to rent an NFT. And just play the game. Have some fun. So right here I have some legendaries and then a common, and then um here, since I'm also the leader of this guild, I could edit the splits. So these are the legendary splits, right? So this is what players would like here. It's the guild split, owner split, player split. I could edit that. If it doesn't total up to 100%, it won't allow you to do that. Only the guild leader, or in the future, admin roles and stuff like that. Right now, it's just the guild leader. They could edit this split. If you're here, I have another window open right here. As a different user. So this is my rentals. This is the guy who's renting um these three NFTs from this account, right? So these are my ongoing rentals. I have four of them. One of them I'm renting myself. This guy's renting his three um NFTs. And then if you go to the pools, since I'm not the guild leader, you don't see that edit button. So I can only rent from this. Um and then if it is a private guild, you wouldn't even be able to make it onto this page. I just recently removed the feature where before, when you go to a guild page, if you weren't a part of it, it would say, hey, you're not a part of that guild. It wouldn't even let you go to that page. We just removed that. But what I'm going to add is, hey, that's a private guild. You're not a part of it. And it'll take you back to the dashboard. Um, so all this stuff, most of the rental stuff is already working. As far as the actual leaderboard stuff that we are tracking, we we have just PvP kills, PvE kills, um how many bosses you've killed, wins, losses, PvE wins, PvE losses, how much energy you've used in a day. So when you do when you have a rental, the guilds will be able to see, well, his rental contract, like, it ended, right? It's the next day. They'll be able to see how many wins you got, how many kills you got, how many matches you played, and how many energy you wasted, if you wasted all the 10. And then so that's this is currently a bare bones version of the website. Um we do have a legit version of the website. Um Here looks more like this, you know. Um
Yeah, this is what your player dashboard experience will feel like, and then
yeah,
we'll rent, and then it'll be that page functionally, but it'll be a part of your dashboard.
yeah, it's just right. We're having some issues like using that entire template. Because it comes from this app Figma or whatever. So it was a really complicated working with it. So we just use this bare bones version, and then we're just gonna like copy in and paste all like the like the styles and the cool the images and all that stuff. But the functionality is here, which is the important part. Once you have the functionality, making it look pretty and polishing it is the easiest part. Um, but yeah, that's more or less where we're at right now. Oh, you leaked the hoverboard.
That's next on the list, Hatter. It's literally tomorrow's job for sure. Unicorn with the rainbow and the farts and the speed boost. We got that on the list for sure. Anybody else have anything like they want to talk about that's bothering them or concerning that they haven't heard us talk about, or blah 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 blah? Because we're all really excited and we want to get into playing this mode. I got I got 25 USDC if you can kill me. Basically, is what it comes down to. We got no UAV out there. If you can find me, you can kill me. I give you 25 USDC. I'm logging in as myself, K9 Gaming, and if you can kill me, I give you 25 USDC. It's literally what it comes down to. Find me, kill me. You don't even have to get a screenshot. I'll have the screenshot. I'll mark it down. Um, good luck, because I'm like a ninja out there now.
Yeah, I think in the next week or so, I'll be able to do that whole leaderboard, like, so you guys can see who killed who. And it'll be tracked in the database, so we could stop, having to do the screenshot stuff and whatnot. We just, been caught up with the website, and contracts and all that stuff.
If we had cut corners on the database, website, contract, game cohesiveness, you guys, and rightfully so, would have just let us have it, because we've all seen other projects and we've all seen corners get cut and everybody lets them have it. That's the way it goes. So right now, where we're at, and that we didn't cut corners, and that like we are ironclad and really confident with our shit, is a really exciting point to be at. And the fact that you guys have all stuck around and are riding this out with us, let's go get
Uh,
viral now. That's the
I
point.
did,
That
I
was the
did
point of
for
all this. So let's go get viral.
Yeah, I did forget. On that dashboard, it does show your pending rewards and stuff like that, and obviously you guys saw the ongoing rentals. But there was a section there that it shows your pending rewards, and it would show your stats. I'm just not printing out the, like my KD and all that stuff. I'm not printing it out, but it is in the database. I'm not going to show you guys the actual databases. I'm gonna give away like the format and stuff,
If I
but that
had your
stuff is
KD, I
there.
wouldn't print it out either.
Yeah, yeah. I had like 9 deaths, 3 kills, 1.
So yeah, don't feel bad. If I had your KD, I would definitely keep that a secret for sure. It looks like the questions have ceased, though. I'm going to ping the server here in a couple minutes and start some matches. And 25 USDC if you can kill me. And I don't know. I'm going to message with Atomic and see if he wants to be a bounty too, because I think that Atomic is a good bounty too. Everybody likes and gets a very good feel when they can kill Atomic. So yeah. Let's maybe do that too. But yeah, good AMA. Thanks for showing up and chatting with me, guys. And we're going to have a really productive week. And next week, I hope to be telling you guys some incredibly strong news.